Welcome everybody to this Wunder Talk. This is episode 35, and we have two topics today. The first one is Andy. He will tell us about features of JetBrains PHP Storm. We had the Munich Drupal user group at their office last week, and we had some pretty interesting insights there. And our second talk will be a case study from our Finnish office. Juha Niemi will tell us something about matkavekka.fi, I think it is, and this will be our second talk. Juha, what is it about this website?
Matkavekka is a Finnish travel agency, and it's built on Drupal commerce to handle their travel sales. So that's what I'm going to tell a bit about today.
All right, so this was the preview, and let's hand over to Andy. He's standing right next to me and is doing the latest features of PHP Storm.
Hi everybody, this is Andy from the Munich office. I'm going to share my screen. So, as today is about Drupal integration in PHP Storm. We had a nice night at the JetBrains office with the Munich Drupal user group there, and one of the guys did a presentation on how to use PHP Storm together with Drupal. Many of you might already have done some integration of Drupal into PHP Storm, as I did before I went there, but I had some really nice insights to some things I didn't have already configured or didn't use at the moment, so I want to share this with you. So, where we need help, you know, coding standards. We have a good documentation on Drupal.org, and this is also the area where everybody might already have configured its PHP Storm in terms of how to format code, indentation, and all that stuff. But we also want to get what my weakness is. I never get the comments totally right. If I use the Drupal coder module, it always will hint me at some exclamation marks that I missed. And also, as I'm a front-end developer, I desperately need all PHP warnings and errors. Okay, so we had a little feedback here from the microphone. I hope this is gone now. The PHP warnings and errors we want to avoid. So there's a good PHP code sniffer integration, and I can show you this in some quick slides. That here is what most of the people already know, because it has been built in PHP Storm for a while to set the code style according to a predefined style with the name of Drupal, which sets all the options there. Many of you have been using that, I think. But what I found out that I can also activate is the PHP code sniffer validation. You need to have PHP code sniffer installed, and you need to have the Drupal coding standards also installed. There's many ways to do that. You can rush download the coder module and manually copy the stuff over to do that, or you do like me with a homebrew. I can show you some screens on where to do that. But here is the settings in PHP Storm, where you go to inspections. You find if you have PHP code sniffer installed, you find a PHP code sniffer validation entry there in the middle area of the screen. And on the right-hand side, you can set the coding standard to many different standards. And there is also Drupal if you have installed the Drupal coding standards. from Coder module, or as I did here, I did it just with Homebrew. I installed Homebrew PHP Code Sniffer, and I installed Drupal Code Sniffer with Homebrew. And then for the configuration inside PHP Storm, you need to let it know where the PHP Code Sniffer binaries are. Here you see mine is at user local bin phpcs, and you can set it here in your PHP settings under the menu item Code Sniffer and give it the right path here. So this is one thing. Another thing is you want to maybe do API lookups and get help with debugging and this stuff. For API lookups and many other things, there's a really good page here in the PHP Storm wiki. This is the wiki, and this is all about enabling Drupal integration. So here there's a setting just for Drupal in the settings. There's a menu entry Drupal, and there you can check enable Drupal integration. You can point to the path where your Drupal is installed. Maybe in your project already you have a www folder or anything like that. You can set a Drupal version. That's a nice thing for my later slides. It also goes for version 8. And there's also, if you create a new PHP Storm project from scratch, there's an option to set Drupal module as project type, and it will give you in Drupal 7 a module file and a .info file, and in Drupal 8 it will create the same thing with YAML, which is also nice. It will set up the include paths for Drupal, as you can see here, and it even detects when you do this setting first, like enable the Drupal integration there. It will also detect if all your file types are associated, like theme, module files, and the info, which which I set like 1 year ago. I set this all manually. And it will also notify you that your Drupal style formatting can be set. That was the first thing I showed you in the settings for the code style, and it will auto set that for you. And the nice thing, what is also there's a hook support. So here in the gutter of a function, you can get a little icon where you can jump to the definition in the API file. I can show you this right away here in PHP Storm. And there's another really nice thing, what I've seen many people not knowing, and me included. When you present with PHP Storm, there's on one hand there's a presentation mode, but this goes really full screen. But there's another thing, if you're on a Mac, you can just like zoom in on your pad, on your trackpad, and it will zoom just the code window. So if I go here, and here you see the little icon where it gives me the tooltip, is documented in system API.php. If I click here, it will jump right in there. It will give you a little select pop-up if there's more definition about that, like module invoke something. Also, what I mentioned before, since we're already here in the PHP Storm IDE, I can see here my hints from PHPCS. Inline comments must end in full stops, exclamation marks or question marks, and inline comments must start with a capital letter, and it's underlined. So if I correct this, I make my code sniffer happy. Yeah, and if we go back to the slides here, what also is really nice, what I found out, I always had to use a workaround. If you go for debugging, many of you still use DPM for that. I also did this because of one thing. When I went into the debugger, I always wanted to copy the whole nested array, and that was not possible as of now, and is still not possible in PHP Storm 7, but I'm using here the PHP Storm 8 early access, and here they fixed this bug. So bug or feature, however you want to call it. So if I go here to my display variant and go to my blocks and I'll go to my attached and I want to, you know, add something to this array, I have an entry now which helps me to copy this path as I did here before, and then I can paste in the whole path to this nested array. Before, in PHP Storm 7, you had to like add this to watches, and then you could copy the name here, and it would give you the same result. But you know, this is many clicks too much, so they fixed it, which is very nice. And you can see this here. They even have a bug tracker here where they track those bugs, and this is the link to this specific bug that was fixed for the Drupal 8 early access. Yeah, and what I also really liked and found out during this presentation is that you can have this was what I showed here. So what you also can do is integrate your MySQL database here, because you know you always can do this with phpMyAdmin if this is installed on your development machine or in your Vagrant, and you can open up the window and do phpMyAdmin. But sometimes you just want to look up something, and so PHP Storm has an integration for databases. Where you can, like here, quickly inspect the users table or whatever. For that to do is you just add a new data source, specify the user credentials for MySQL and the database name and that stuff. And many of you, like me, are using Vagrant. For Vagrant, you can use this via SSH tunnel too, to just specify the proxy user as Vagrant and look up the key that in the Vagrant was used in the Vagrant configuration. We're using a Puppet here, and so there's a path to this specific key, and then that works like a charm. Yeah. So like here, we can see this. Just open up the database. Oh, okay, let run my debugger here. So if I want to find something here, I can take the table, click here on View Table. Since those credentials are saved and encrypted, I need to put in my password, but this is just a PHP specific password that I need here because my credentials are stored on disk for all the other stuff, so I need to do this here. You can see what the structure of the table is and many nice features there. Just a quick glance. And yeah, what about D8? As I said, D8. I showed you many things that I showed before already in a D8 development environment that I set up. But the nice thing is there is a Symfony 2 plugin, which is just for standard Symfony 2 projects. But there's also a Drupal Symfony 2 bridge plugin that helps you integrate in the current Drupal implementation for Symfony. Here you see that you can also set up Drupal for version 8. And here you can enable the plugins that I mentioned before, the Symfony 2 plugin and the Drupal Symfony 2 Bridge plugin. And that gives you some more features. I cannot all show you because I didn't explore so much of them, but it's also nice to have that. So here are the links on my slides. I hope I didn't forget anything to show you. Yeah, here are the links. I will share the slides link with you via Skype. So here's PHP Storm, the bug report that I showed you in the bug reporter, the wiki for setting up Drupal here, and the link to Homebrew if anybody is not using Homebrew on his Mac. So this is also there. So thank you very much. If there's any questions, as always, I'll be happy to answer them and discuss with you. And thank you very much for listening.
Thanks, Andy. Let me mute you. We will have a feedback as well. Well, again. So this was pretty interesting. I will try to check this out in the afternoon, because I did not know a lot of these features. And we are going forward with the other topic today. This is Juha. And Juha, let me switch you on and unmute your mic, and you are online now.
Right, thank you. So hello, I'm Juha. I work at the Wundertalks Turku office, which is in Finland, and I'm going to talk today about Matkavekka, Drupal commerce site that we did a couple of months ago. It's actually still ongoing, since it's a continuous development client of ours, so it shouldn't be never ready. But the active project phase ended about a few months ago. And Jonas Timikip had his session about the same project from a little bit different point of view, from the project management side. And it was episode 24 about 2 months ago, so you should go back and check that as well, and you will also learn more about Matkavekka. And I'm not going to repeat all the things about this company and this project, so I'm just going to dive into some details about the technical implementation that we did. Okay. In a quick glance, this is that we are going to talk about, and these are the main things that we did. We built the site on Drupal Commerce. We didn't have or use the Drupal Commerce Kickstart or any other installed profiles. We went with the vanilla way, and since we already knew from the beginning that this would be a highly customized Drupal Commerce site, so that was selected from the beginning, that we use only the vanilla version. We also have a payment gateway integration used in Drupal Commerce. It's a Finnish gateway which bundles all the credit cards and all the Finnish banks into one service, so that we don't have to implement all the payment banks individually, and which makes the payment quite a bit easier in Drupal Commerce side as well. At least, I mean. The site is also very deeply integrated into the client's booking system, since this web shop is not the only place that they are selling these same travel packages. They have about at least 10 local stores around Finland. I might. The number is actually quite much higher, but I don't remember it accurately. But let's say there are quite a few local stores in Finland that use and sell the same products. So and they all use directly the booking system, and we just integrate it into it via the API. So that was the way that we had to do the web shop as well, so that we talk always with the real-time booking data. We use extensively feeds to import the products from the booking system, and actually it's not directly feeds, it's also using the WS client module, which then exposes SOAP interfaces as Drupal sources, so feeds sources, I mean, and we use that combination to pull in products from the booking system. We use also Apache Soar as the search engine in some parts of the site, not all of them, but at least in the front page, where you can choose the travel destination, for example. That view is based on Soar. And we have lots of custom stuff, particularly in the product pricing logic, since this is not that simple, as I will tell you a bit more later. And we also implemented a responsive layout, which is an obvious thing today, so I'm not going to go too deeply into that. So the Drupal commerce, we have the main product type called departure. So I'm trying to explain what a departure means. So a departure is every single departure, whether it would be a ferry cruise or a trip to Legoland or some other place. Every time a trip starts, that's a departure. So that's our basic piece of product that we have in this commerce setup. And the departure itself has no price. I'm going to come into that a little bit deeper later. But one departure has like about 10 reference products, which then make the whole options for the travel package or the order of the whole travel, and they all then combine into this big order that the user needs to buy then. About the product pricing, as I said, that single departure, even though it's the main product in our site, it's not the one that has the price. It has lots of price products attached to it via product references, and a single departure might have 100 pricing products based on for different ages and for a number of people that are traveling in the same group. And for example, if one person goes into a ferry cabin, the price is different per person than it would be for 2 persons in the same cabin. And also the prices vary day by day, so that all results in that we have today about 2 million products in the database. And once we started this project, we didn't expect that we would have this much of products. Since we did this the agile way, we started to implementing bit by bit and adding first the departures. Then we realized that there are exceptions in pricings and we need to import more products, and then this is the end result. The site has departures for about the next year or so. So of course there are lots of departures every day. Ferry cruises and daily spa trips to Tallinn and stuff like that. So that's kind of obvious that there are lots of products. And what comes to the cart, it's not the traditional either. So we used customizable line items so whenever a departure is moved to a cart, you can customize it, or you need to customize it, and to enter, for example, the traveler's personal information, like the birth dates and what gender are you, and phone numbers and stuff like that. And also you can select some add-on products, so we have even more products when you go into the cart. And for example, if you're going on a ferry cruise, you could select that I would also like to buy some food while I'm on the cruise, and you can all select them in the cart, and they will be added when you go further down the checkout process. And what was particularly hard in this project was that the pricing is very dynamic. And I can show you an example. If you go, this is a single travel destinations page to Tallinn, and you can see the departures here. And if I change the amount of passengers here at the top from 1 adult to 2, it initiates recalculations of all these departure dates and changes the starting price here. So, and every single price that you see here is actually calculated by going into the pricing products and then choosing the right products for this date, for this type of customer, if it's a child or a adult, and also how long the trip will last. So every time we calculate a single price here, it does lots of SQL queries and then going into the product references and checking what products should be applied when calculating price for this departure. So this was something that took time, and we had also lots of performance issues here, since there are lots of stuff shown at the same page. So I could not open these all hotels, and while I'm still on the same page, I can go back up and change some parameters, and all the prices would start to update here. So these took time to find the right ways to do these performance-wise. Yeah, that's about it. So that's the quick technical case study for matkavekka.fi site, and feel free to ask any questions if you have any.
Thanks, Juha. I think we have no questions so far. At least I cannot see any on Skype. But as we have always a little delay between the live broadcasts, and questions might come in later. And so, please, if you have a question, ask them directly to Juha on Skype, and I think he's pretty happy to answer anything. This was it for the Wundertalks today. We will have an interesting topic next week. It's about the Cato chatbot we have in our Slack chat system, and you will see some pretty cool demonstration, I think, and we will have Florian. He is telling us something about another case study, but I think he has not decided which one, because he has two topics prepared. And we got a question in Skype. So, and it is, how were the prices changes implemented, Juha? Oops.
Yeah, I'll try to remember some.
Now you're unmuted.
Yeah, I'll try to remember how was it done. As I said, the departure, even though that's the one that you see on the list, that you can select the date that is for what departure date you are looking at, and then you change some parameters that affect the price. The departure product does not have the price itself, so actually we're not using any pricing rules, for example, to change the actual sale price of a product. So when we display prices, we usually kind of use a custom way to display the price for the customer before the actual ordering process goes into the checkout. But once you have gone through the cart phase and you add the information there and you go into the final checkout phases, then you can see all the breakdown products that have been selected to your order, and you can see the price from every single line. But if you're just selecting for a departure date, that way that we display the price is quite custom, and it's not actually using the pricing rules of commerce.
Ah, interesting. And we have another question. It's really question day today. So how did you solve performance issues on those listings? Any interesting approaches you might want to share?
Well, the obvious stuff is that you need to make sure that the views queries are not too heavy, and you need to really find out the correct relationships in queries and stuff like that. So that's the kind of obvious answer to that. We also use a couple of custom callbacks when you go to a single destination page, for example, the Tallinn, where there are 20 hotels there, and when you change some parameters up in the drop downs, you get all the minimum prices for each hotel. So that actually makes a JSON call to a custom callback, and we cache those responses for some time, because is not usually changing that often, so we can safely cache them for 15 minutes or so. So that was the short answer.
Great. Thank you very much. I think time is up. If you have more questions, tell them on Skype, and you can get in contact later. This was it for today. And I want to say a big thank you to Andreas and to Juha for participating this week in the Wundertalks. And have a nice weekend, and see you all next week. Bye.